Hey, my friends, a quick vid to kind of highlight some of the reasons of why you'd want to live outside of an urban area. First off, you have a lot less stress, typically speaking, and you have a slower pace of life, which is healthy for you when you live in a more rural area. Now, sometimes it just depends on the individual. You know, everybody has different personalities. So some people are just a lot more active and outgoing than others. But just typically speaking, though, you'll see the pace of life a lot slower or somewhat slower in a more rural area, or at least in an area that is removed from an urban center. What I also see since I've moved away from a larger city is that there's a lot less light pollution out where I am, because there's just less lights. I mean, it's pretty simple. Also, there's a lot less noise pollution. I don't have to constantly hear the drone of vehicles drive by, or honking of horns or sirens or any of that stuff. Also, there's a lot fewer planes that fly over my house. So you have that. Also, when it comes to just pollution, in the sense that a lot of us think of pollution, of air pollution, also water pollution, I would imagine it is probably dramatically less in a more rural area. And then, of course, this is the big one that a lot of people don't think about, but this is so important for overall health. And that is to get away from all this exposure to excessive radiation. And these days, you see a lot more activity in the microwave bands because of all of the newer technology, communication technology, data transfer technology, especially when we have 5G now being implemented in a lot of the larger cities here in the U.S. And we see it in other countries. In some cases, they have a full network already up and going. So this is a big problem, you know, all this exposure to radiation. And I have found, though, in my area, it's removed enough that I really don't have the same level of exposure as someone that's in a more urban area. It's probably common sense, you know. I mean, think about it. You have a lot less cell phone activity in a rural area than in an urban area. You have a lot less cell towers, a lot less of everything. I'll just tell you, I live so rural in the sense that I don't even have the capability or the option to even pull in a signal, a digital TV signal. I live that far away from any TV tower. And so that's fine with me. I don't have any problems with that. So I think it's good to at least be far enough out so that you're not just constantly exposed and bombarded with all this radiation. And there's a whole, you know, spectrum of radiation. And the more that you can just minimize, you know, the absorption that your body has to deal with of this radiation, I think that's going to be a lot better for you in the long term, obviously. Because what we see is that radiation typically breaks the body down, and on a cellular level, it destabilizes the nucleus. And so it becomes basically an airborne carcinogen, you know, when you have too much radiation. And this is what leads to cancer, you know. So this is not surprising, you know, to see outbreaks or spikes in cancer for those who live around 5G towers. And this is what we're seeing in various countries. You know, this is not something I'm just making up. I mean, you just research it. You see all kinds of reports of increased cancer rates here and there, and yet it's still allowed. So you tell me if there's a conspiracy or not. It's kind of bizarre, if not like a bit, you know, more than just strange. I mean, this is concerning on a lot of levels. And so I'm not a big fan of 5G at all. And I think that 4G is bad enough, you know. But once we start to get into these hardcore microwave bands, and it becomes something that the whole area is blanketed over day and night, that is so not good for the body. So you may say, well, I'll just shelter in place in my house. Won't I be safe in my house? In a lot of cases, no. I mean, you're going to have to take extra steps to shield yourself, you know, and make your home a safer place. And so this is where we are, you know, in the modern day. You know, you would think that we would probably have less pollution, less toxins, but now we pretty much have more than we ever have had. I mean, just look at what's in the foods, you know. all kinds of pesticides. We have all kinds of artificial processed ingredients. We have genetically modified plants. And then you got all kinds of additives put in the water, like fluoride. All this stuff, it all adds up, and it makes our bodies very toxic. I mean, there are so many people that are walking around with a ton of heavy metals. So many people need a detox. And then on top of all this, we have all this radiation. I mean, just add it up, and you'll see that it's a recipe for disaster. I just want you guys to be safe. You guys take care. Catch you later.